Hi, I'm Dana, and one of my first semi sort of popular or successful videos on here was about Flare Karma, the little earbuds that help with noise sensitivities and sensory issues regarding noise. And because that was the first video that got a good amount of views for me, essentially, I want to monopolise on that. No, I've had a lot of people ask me about the difference between flare and loop, and for the longest time I couldn't answer because I only had the one. However, for the last quite a long time now, I've actually had both, and I've experienced both. I've used both a lot. I really know the differences now, I think. So I thought today would be the day that we finally get the video on the differences between them to try and hopefully help you figure out which one you should buy, because neither of them are particularly cheap. I would not be able to afford either of them. I got my loops as a gift from my ex, and I got the Flare Karmas as a gift from Flare. They very kindly sent me all sorts of shit at one point. Actually, it was great. They sent me absolutely loads of stuff. I'm losing my framing, sorry. So to start with, I'm just gonna show you what each of them are. So I'll start with the loops, because they're the ones that I think most people are already aware of. I think they're the ones that are sort of most popular. They come with this little carry case thing. I'll do some close-ups on my desk. I'll make this bit look nice for you. So they come in this little branded box that is actually quite fancy, and I think I just have the most standard ones possible. I don't think they're anything fancy. They're just the little silver circle and the little black earbud thing. I no longer have the original packaging, but it was fancy packaging. The little boxes in the middle of this little square, and there's lots and lots of different earpieces that you can put on, and then you just slip them in and it looks like that. Very especially with all my hair, you don't see them, you don't notice them. You just slot them in, and that's them. That's sorted. That's all it is. And like I say, Flare sent me all sorts of products, so I do actually have a brand new pack that I can show you. So it looks like this when you get it. I've had this a while, so it is a little bit beaten up, but it's always exciting to open a new pack, and I have lost my other pairs of Flares. That's the downside, is that I lose these all the time. It's stupid because I bought a little container for them that clipped onto my keyring, and I lost that too. So you get a pouch with it. You get the whole little information booklet, I guess, and then you get the actual earbuds. These ones are a fun colour because they brought out different colours, and I enjoy that a lot. And they also just slot in like so. And I do think they're a little bit more discreet, to be honest.
Would you like a vegan sausage roll? Filming? Oh, sorry.
There you go, that's how it sits in properly. That's how it looks. And yeah, I'll put them back in my pouch because I'm convinced I'm not losing these ones. A lot of people are questioning which ones they should buy. So I want to talk about the things that they do and the things that are different, because I think that there's actually quite a large difference between them, and people act like they're the same products and they're honestly not. So for loops, I use these when I'm going out. I use these when I'm doing things, but I exclusively use them when I'm out and about on my own, because I can't hear shit. I can't hear what people are saying very well, and if I'm talking to someone, it makes my voice sound weird. You know when you have proper earplugs in, my voice sounds like that, it's really echoey inside my head and too loud, and I don't like that aspect of them. But if I'm on the train, if I'm doing a grocery shop, things where I've even worn these in bars and clubs and stuff before, and they didn't help an awful lot, to be fair, but it's better than not having anything in that situation, even though earplugs are the best. But they're the types of situations where I wear these, because they really block out a lot of sound, and like I say, it really contains the sound in your head, so when you're speaking it's so loud, and yet I can't hear the people that are talking around me. And that can also be really good if I'm trying to get work done, because it means that they're not earplugs. You can still hear what's going on, you can still hear people speaking, but it's so quiet. And I do appreciate that aspect of it, is that it's quiet, it's not muffled, because earplugs muffle sound, whereas with loop, it's not muffled. You can very much still hear all of the intricacies of the sound, you just have it much quieter. Flare, however, Flare Karma are my favourites. I like them much more than the loops. Even with loops different ear size fitting things, I think that the Flare ones are much more comfortable. I also think that they're more discreet. I've got a lot of hair and stuff, so I don't really worry about it that much anyway, and also I don't care, I've got a little earplug thing and deal with it. But I do think they're just less likely to be noticed, and they also do like a clear one as well, so if you really don't want people to notice, I think that Flare Karma are a better choice because the loop bit is just quite big. And I like it in a way because, like, number one, you can tie a piece of string to it and not lose them so easily if you wanted. And it also gives me less fear of it, like, getting lost in my ear, and I feel like I can feel it more, so I don't have to, like, poke and check that it's there. But the Flare are just so much more comfortable for me. I can't feel it in my ear as much, which does make me panic that I'm losing it, and I have lost many of them at this point. But it feels better, you know? And these are also the ones that I choose to wear more often when I'm out with people, when I'm around the house, when I'm just sort of overwhelmed by sound and want things to not be so much, because they don't make things quieter in the same way that loop do, and they don't muffle sound. It very much, like, the whole science of Flare Karma is that it, like, reduces certain, I want to say, decibels. There's a whole science behind it where it's just getting rid of certain frequencies that are, like, more likely to annoy you and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what it actually does. Whereas loop very much sort of like removes sound and like makes everything quieter. With Flare, it's the same volume. Like, I can still really hear people speaking, and I also don't get like the echoey inside my head sort of sounds from them. So I wear them a lot more when I'm around people, and I just think that they're better, honestly. I know everyone goes off about loop, and I do like them, and I will definitely wear them when I'm in like louder environments. But for actual like sound sensitivities as an autistic person, and not just I'm in a loud environment, like when it's an actual sensory issue as an autistic person where like other people wouldn't be bothered by it, that's where like Flare actually help. Whereas I use loop in the situations where anyone could benefit from some earplugs, you know, like the checkout's too loud in the supermarket, or I'm in a bar. You know, it's the situations where everyone would like things to be a little bit quieter realistically. Whereas Flare like actually comes in handy in my day-to-day as an autistic person, you know? Like, for me, I'm still figuring out a lot of like the things that bother me sensory wise. So there's been times where I've gotten annoyed and I've had something to eat and I've had something to drink, and I'm like, I'm still annoyed and there's nothing for me to be annoyed over, so what's going on? And then I stick my Karmas in and I'm like, oh, I was having like some sort of sound sensitivity to like the fridge or the cat's water fountain or like whatever's going on in my environment. And it's so subtle that I didn't notice it enough to be able to be like, that's the issue. But they block out just the right frequencies that suddenly I'm like, oh, it was that, and I'm fine now, it's all chill. Whereas loop would also block out the TV and like the person that I'm talking to and whatever I'm trying to do. And like I say, at times that can be really beneficial. I really appreciate that. But overall, I don't think they're that good. I really don't like the loops as much as I like the Flare Karma. I think that they might be more beneficial for people who have like much stronger sensory difficulties regarding sound than I do. But like the echoing of my voice inside my head when I wear them like absolutely drives me up the wall. I hate it. It's like when you're speaking with like normal earphones or earplugs. Like I don't understand how they're like marketed it the way they are when it does that, really. Like, I don't want to hate on them, I do like them. You know, I own both and I do regularly use both, and there are situations where I prefer the loops. But on the whole, if you were going to buy something, I would recommend Flare Karma. And like I say, like they did send me all this stuff for free. Like I don't know if this counts as an ad because I did not pay for these items, but I'm not like being paid to continue talking about them. They didn't, like, they sent me them for the one video where I spoke about them. They haven't, like, you know, this isn't actually affiliated with them. I just received the product because I'm poor and emailed them being like, please can I have some? And I much prefer it over what I was told by a lot of people is a better and superior product. I think Flare Karma might be more expensive, and then perhaps that's why a lot of people are going for loop instead. And I get that. Like, fair enough, you know, get what you can. Update from the editing lounge is that they're actually the same price. Flare Karma are £19.99 and the Loop Quiet are £19.95, and they both have like various price points for other products, but like the basic ones are the same price. So yeah. But if you're really looking for something that helps with like sensory difficulties regarding noise, and especially when like you maybe don't quite know what your triggers are around that yet, or the things that like really set it off, I think Flare's the way to go. They're the ones that I much prefer. They're the ones that I actually like use more often. I enjoy using more. And yeah, they've helped me out a lot. They've really been like, they really save my ass sometimes. And I really need to start actually carrying them around with me again and not just using them in the house. And yeah. my own issues there, nothing to do with the video. If you've used one or the other or both, or want to use them or whatever else, I'd love to hear about what you think about them in the comments below. I don't know why it was so difficult for me to get that out. I'd like to hear what you think about them. I'd like to know your opinions. I think that it's a very, like, you know, as much as I'm making this video being like, you should buy these, like, think about your own difficulties and what you're struggling with and what you need to accommodate to. I'm trying to provide, like, both sides of how it is so you can make a decision about it. So it would be great to have other people's opinions in the comments and other people's experiences, so it's not just mine to go off. But I think that's all I have to say for now. So my links will be down below if you'd like to follow me on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or anywhere else. And it'd be lovely if you wanted to subscribe here. I'm posting on Sundays and Thursdays now, and we've gotten back to real actual content, and it's going to continue and it's going to be fab. Why wouldn't you want to stick around? So wherever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.